Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General Votel, I want to follow up on a couple of the questions that Senator Warren asked about Yemen. What would be the implications and the impact if the United States stopped providing the aerial refueling, the intelligence, and the advice to the Saudi forces?
Senator, I think right now that the provision of those things that you just covered right now gives us placement, it gives us access, and it gives us influence with Saudi Arabia. And what I would highlight to you is that we have been working with them, sharing our own experiences.
But you testified that earlier that we don't. When we refuel a Saudi plane, we don't have any control over the mission, where it goes, what it does next. I mean, but if the argument is this allows us to maintain control, are we maintaining some level of control?
Well, the influence that we derive with them is by working with them to demonstrate how we do our targeting process.
Do they listen? Have they ever changed
absolutely
the mission based upon our input?
They absolutely do, and in the work that we've been doing with them related to the ballistic missile threat, we have seen some very good progress in this area. Recently, Saudi Arabia has followed many of the things that we have done in terms of how we stand up architectures to investigate civilian casualties. These are problems that we have on occasion, even as good as we are.
So the principal argument against this move to limit or cut off that aid is if we do, the Saudi conduct might be worse. Is that?
It is better for, and Senator, from my perspective, it is better for us to stay engaged with them and continue to influence this. They want this type of support, and they want to improve their capabilities.
You said for us. How about for the people of Yemen?
I think it's absolutely essential that we stay engaged in this for them, and I think this does give us the best opportunity to address these concerns.
Thank you. Turning to Iran, I understand Iran is, all the testimony is Iran is abiding by the JCPOA in terms of inspections and what they're doing. What would be the implications for the region if the United States abruptly terminated the agreement, and what would Iran do?
Senator, I can't speculate on what Iran would do. You know, the implications for the region. I think there would be some concern, I think, about how we intended to address that particular threat if it was not being addressed through the JCPOA. Of course, our approach here is one of assuring our partners, maintaining deterrent capabilities in the region, and then, of course, where we can.
But if the agreement were terminated, wouldn't the Iranians then be free to pursue a nuclear weapon within a matter of months?
Theoretically, they would be able to do that.
And that certainly wouldn't contribute to, if the Iranians had a nuclear weapon, we'd have 2 rogue states with nuclear weapons on our hands instead of 1. The other one being North Korea.
Right. This could certainly be the case. Again, we're speculating that would be the direction there.
Do you think it would be in the national security interests of the country to maintain the Iran agreement, at least for the near term?
I share the Secretary of Defense's and Chairman's comments on this, that right now I think it is in our interests.
And there may be a different point of view in 4 or 5 years when it's near the end of its term. Is that correct?
That could be true.
Thank you. Turning to Pakistan, by the way, you have one of the most complicated jobs in the world, I think. You can go from one area to the other. I haven't even mentioned Syria. Is Pakistan still supporting terrorist activity in Afghanistan, and has the recent Get Tough with Pakistan policy influenced their behavior?
It has. The pressure that has been put on Pakistan, I think, through our South Asia strategy and some of our public communication, I think has helped gain their attention. And as I've mentioned previously, we have seen some positive indicators as a result of this. I cannot tell you that we have seen decisive changes in the areas in which we're working, but I remain very well engaged with my partner to ensure that we are moving forward on this.
So, but there appears to be a surge of attacks in Afghanistan. You don't associate those with Pakistan?
Well, again, the having sanctuary in Pakistan or having support from other actors in the region certainly is an aspect of the Taliban's success here. So I think we have to look at all of these to ensure we attribute the causes of these attacks to where it is. We also have ISIS that does have a different approach as well.
Final question, should we be even tougher with Pakistan? Should we ratchet up the pressure because they still are providing sanctuary? It's still unclear whose side they're on in that region.
Senator, I think right now, the strategy that we have is an appropriate one, and I think we have the mechanism to continue to keep them focused on our objectives, our mutual objectives here. So I do think we are pursuing this in the right way, and I think some of the positive indicators that we have begun to see, although it hasn't led to decisive changes yet, are things that we have to pay attention to as we move forward.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.